Really fan, right? Love every tune that man makes. So before we get into too much, because 51 minutes to the hour of geese neck, we need to get into our some reason with our guests. And today on Wilde Talk, we are honoured and blessed to share some space with Agnes Whiteman. All right, now she is sitting here proud as one of our newest recruits to JustWrite, which is Wilde's flagship writers group. So Agnes, first and foremost, welcome to Wilde Talk.
Thank you, Culture. It's lovely to be here.
Yeah, I tell you people, I don't know, Agnes, turn around, let the people see that smile. That is a phenomenal smile from a phenomenal sister. Right, now this interview is going to go in two halves. I'm going to take the first half and then Still Waters is going to come in. Because I think that some of the Wilde Talk people don't think Still Waters actually exists. So we're going to put her up on film. So first and foremost, Agnes, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I started off in banking, for most of my life in banking, and since the 80s, later, because I've been a teaching assistant.
Right, okay, I want you to start that again first because some people didn't quite get you there. All right, so I was just saying to Agnes, tell us a little bit about your writer's journey.
My writer's journey, yes. Now, I've always been writing ever since I was a child, but I didn't really think much of it. But as I grew older, I started to write things down, but I didn't really read it and take any notice of it. But it wasn't until about 4 years ago that my children and my friends started saying, "Oh, we love your writing, please put it somewhere." So my son, Anton, who's 12 years old, created me a blog.
Wow! Okay, I'm going to be speaking to my 27-year-old about a blog. Yes. Oh, yes. Phenomenal. And what are you doing with this blog?
So on the blog, I'm really putting up all the poetry, which is really, as Ginger would say, poetry is the voice of the soul.
Ah, you hear that, girl? Mm-hmm.
And it is coming from I, the soul.
Excellent.
So I'm putting them up as and when I write them, and friends and family are reading and saying, "Let's have more." And as I'm inspired, I put them up so people can read and share, because I'm really inspired by life itself, everything and everyone around me.
Well, I must say, you do actually, you do kind of give off that vibration of a lover of life, and that is beautiful. So okay, so you've got your blog going, and you've got your poetry, and people are loving it. So why did you decide to move into JustWrite?
Well, funny enough, Ginger slipped a card through my front door about maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and I thought, oh, that would be really good, because I didn't think that really I could write, and I didn't know how well I could write. So I thought, I really want to take up this class. I was a bit apprehensive because I thought, well, I don't want to be taught how to write. I want to be inspired. And lo and behold, I finally managed to get to the JustWrite group, and I was so touched by the approach, because they are an inspiration. It is. I walked in there and I sat down and I met Still Waters. And she said, "Agnes, I'm not going to teach you to write. I'm going to inspire you." And that's exactly what she does. And some of the other writers I've met said to me, "Agnes, you're going to love it, because you just do what you have to do."
That is phenomenal. That is it. Why Still Waters is sitting back there filming, she's trying not to smile. But girlfriend, you bust that grin, you deserve it. So Agnes, what is your genre? What is the way you write?
Oh my goodness, Culture. I'm all over the place at the moment.
Wow. And that's the best place to be.
I think because for me, I'm a very spiritual person. It's something I think my siblings and I have inherited from our mother. And it started off with more of the prayers and the meditation. So I found myself writing things like, "I am life, I am, the soul," and it went on there. And then next thing I knew, I was writing about the cat who was walking on my garden wall. So I'm inspired by, as I said, everything and everyone around me. And what I found with Still Waters is she has given me the tool to harness, because I didn't think I could write about any subject, but she's made me realise that I can write about anything I want to.
Wow.
Yes.
Right, now before we go any further, I think it's a time, we're going to get a bit American here now and just plug it. When are the classes?
The classes at the moment are being held at the Askew Road Library.
Right, so for people who are not too familiar, that's Askew Road, which is in London W12. All right, and we're going to give you the contact details because I know that some of you out there thinking, boy, this woman sounds fired up. This Still Waters woman is inspirational. I need to be there. So before the end of the show, we will give you the full details of how you can get involved in JustWrite.
Yes, and just to fill you in with the times culture, it's 6 to...
That was Bob Andy and 2 Experience. We're back here again to continue talking to Agnes about JustWrite. So Agnes, now that you've started writing,
Yeah.
where are you going from here? What are your plans?
Well, I think my plans, Still Waters, is to really become a children's author. I've always loved telling stories to children, making up stories, and I feel that after having attended the JustWrite group, this is where I want to head now. So I need to do the groundwork. I need to do my research. I need to write and write and write until I can get those children's stories to perfection.
Fantastic. So you've made your absolute plan. You've made a 5-year plan, a 3-year plan, or?
I think I'm heading more like for a medium term, so let's say 5 years. In the meantime, though, I think what I've benefited from the group as well is I've learned that I don't have to restrict myself. I can try my hands at other topics, and for example, I was intending to write for the under 10s, but
Right.
you know, I'm open to writing for the teenagers now as well.
Good. That sounds fantastic.
Thank you.
Any thoughts about writing for adults?
Actually, that has never crossed my mind, but I haven't. I'm not closing my eyes to it because some of the exercises that we've done in the writing group, I've surprised myself to find. Yeah.
Okay, so why would you try the adults? What's inspiring you there?
I think there isn't that many on the spiritual side. More like I'd like to get out for the adults. It's still developing, but I want something that people can read and ask themselves the question, well, what do I believe? Yes.
So you want to tap into their minds.
Tap into their minds, then yes, and
Good.
look and get them to really to go in, to look inside themselves, and to find out, you know, what am I really all about?
So now that you're planning on writing your children's stories, which story in particular? Are you going to concentrate on boys' stories, girls' stories, or where are you going? Where are you going here? Any idea? Is there a story in your mind that you're thinking?
There isn't a story in my mind, one story in my mind as such as yet, but I would like to write for both boys and girls.
Good.
You do? So yes, I totally the sort of equality of everyone in mind when it comes to that.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
One of the things I want to ask you, Agnes, the voice from beyond, is that if there was one thing you wanted to tell our listeners, if there was one thing you wanted to tell our listeners, what is it about Wilde, what about JustWrite, that makes you think I've got to be going there for every class?
What I would say to the listeners is, it is a relaxed atmosphere. It is inspirational. You're not going to be doing anything that you're not doing by yourself at the moment. You are just going to be encouraged to do it even more and inspired to do your best. You're going to love it.
That is absolutely... Come on. Okay, we're doing a little bit of a turnaround here now, very quickly. Oh, don't worry. When you see the edited version, everything will be fine. You won't be getting all this shaky stuff. But this is absolutely fantastic for a woman who received a card through her door 5 years ago by Ginger, who has decided. Because when did you start the class?
I started the class, would you believe, 3 weeks ago.
Right, so 3 weeks ago. So when you get something coming to your life, someone or something coming to your life, it doesn't mean necessarily you have to act upon it there and then. Yeah, as Stillwater said earlier, stay connected with mind or spirit or the universe, wherever your connectivity is. for what will be must be, and listen out for the name. Is that good? Are you going to have a pseudonym?
Oh, well, that, I might consider it. But
Okay.
at the moment, I'll use mine.
Okay, so you look out in the stores under the children's section, unisex books. Before we go any further, because I know you said it's going to be on a spiritual tip, will it have a kind of African-centric style to it, or will it just be a child's book per se?
Oh, it will be a mixture of all sorts of culture. I think a good idea is if people logged in onto my blog at the moment, they'll get a bit of my essence.
All right, and okay, people, pen and paper, and Agnes is going to tell you very slowly how you can get her blog.
Right, if you'd like to log on to that's THE, Urina, spelled EURINA, .blogspot.co.uk. So that's www.theurina.blogspot.co.uk.
All right, so you look out for Agnes Whiteman, because if it took her 5 years to get to JustWrite, I've got a sneaky suspicion it's not going to take her that long to get into print. Agnes, it's been absolutely fantastic. But before we go, I know that you want to live dedicate the next tune coming up to a family member.
Oh yes, Petra, I've got a few actually, Culture.
Yeah,
to my sons, Ben and Anton, family Rianne, Mel, Nat, Nalisha, and happy birthday to my brother Matthew up in Luton.
Where you hear that, Matthew? That's the wild talk kind of greetings. So for you all, and Agnes, you stay tight for now. This is, again, the man himself, John Hall, with an old-time classic. Okay, Fred, here we go.